Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today. My name is Mel Rose, and I'm here to share your daily aspects. Today is Friday, May 20, 2022. It is a day for transitions, friends. The sun is in Taurus most of the day until 8:30 this evening when it makes ingress to Gemini, and the moon is also going to move from Capricorn into Aquarius today. While the sun has been in Taurus, we have focused very much on what is material to our best possible experience of living. Our bodies and our bank accounts very much on our minds. Having put the work in to stabilize the flow of resources coming in, we now have the flexibility to think, plan, and play and create through communication, which is the order of the day, all day, every day when sun is in Gemini. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, which is currently in retrograde and right at home in the sign of Gemini for a few more days before it appears to back up into Taurus again. Gemini brings us this mercurial, changeable, even playful vibe in our lives. But Mercury itself is retrograde, bringing in a bit of chaos factor. So look for plans to change and conversations to be interrupted, speedy quick too. Meantime, Moon begins today in Capricorn, making ingress to Aquarius this morning. May the waning gibbous moon in Aquarius put just enough rebellion in our hearts to truly be ready to purge the outdated notions, ideas, attitudes, and dispositions that are no longer serving us. And also the stuff, whatever excess stuff we have laying around that no longer serves a purpose in our lives, can be stacked by the door and made ready for release. And I'm going to go ahead and get right into the aspects. First, I want to point out the handcrafted key on the right-hand side of the page. Most of the symbols on the page have made it into the key. If you desire a point of reference, it's right here. I have otherwise divided the page into two columns, one for each of our luminaries. The moon is the luminary that sheds light on our inner lives. This is about your relationship with yourself, what it feels like for you to be in your body, heart, and mind, and in your home. The transits and aspects the moon makes are all very brief, and they have a subtle impact on those things you think, feel, know, and intuit, but may choose whether to express. The sun is the luminary that sheds light on our outer lives. This is the outward expression of yourself in the world, specifically in your work, social, and civic spaces. I address the sun and the rest of the planets on the movements on this side because these have a greater effect on that outward expression. And we begin on the moon side today, early this morning at 2:07 a.m. Central Standard Time, friends. Moon goes sextile to Mars. Aries, Cancer, and Scorpio have ruling planets here. We feel an urge to act or to assert ourselves in some way that helps move things forward in the heart or in the home. Sextile vibration echoes that cooperative spirit coming from Mars and offers us positive outcomes for the moves we make in good faith. And then at 5:24 in the morning, Moon goes conjunct to Pluto. Cancer and Scorpio will feel this vibe especially. Some very deep emotion or understanding may become unavoidable to notice and to react to. Conjunct energy amplifies both the feeling of depth and the emotion. So this can be a pretty intense period, like about a 2-hour period of time. Shifting over to the sun side for a moment, sun goes trine to a void of course moon at 6:59 a.m. Leo and Cancer, right here. This aspect comes up with the waning gibbous moon and provides us ideal inner and outer life alignment toward the completion of the work at hand, namely making things ready to be let go. And then back on the moon side, well, our lunar void, of course, today is only about an hour. This is generally considered to be a good period of time to meditate, journal, consult with our intuitive and creative practices as the moon is between signs. And then at 7:53 Still in the morning, Moon makes ingress to Aquarius. Moon in Aquarius pulls us out of our work, that Capricorn worker mode, and out into the community to help us organize and affiliate with our allies. And then we have a couple of overlapping lunar aspects here. At 10:11 this morning, Moon goes trine to Mercury, so Gemini, Cancer, and Virgo would notice this the most. We feel very positive about our plans here, and we're encouraged to share with someone we keep close. And then at 10:54, Moon goes sextile to Jupiter. Cancer, Sagittarius, and Pisces would notice this the most. And this is an ideal aspect for keeping company with people who inspire us with positivity, that sense of growth and expansion that we like to have. Taken together from around 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., we have this period of time where we can be very good company, and the stuff we share can be put to positive use in our lives. There's a little reminder that comes with this, though. The Mercury is in retrograde, so it's important to listen as much as we share. Once more, over to the Sun's column at 8:22 this evening. Sun makes ingress to Gemini, beginning a month-long transit in that sign. This brings our daily focus around to the plans and conversations we want to have. Gemini also brings a sense of playfulness and a willingness to change our minds in the name of advancing the plan. In the ongoing column today, you can see that it's like we have ever more and more ongoing at this time. So with us through May 27, we have Sun trine Pluto, Leo and Scorpio. This can be a whole vibe for you. Pluto brings power to our self-expression and intensity to our conscious experience. Thanks very much to trine energies, there is some positive evolution available to us at this time. We can go into our endings and beginnings fully conscious and feeling good about what is happening. Being in charge of ourselves also and what we can control shows leadership that can have a potent and positive effect on our circumstances and on the people around us. Then Sun sextile Mars is an aspect through June 4. Aries, Taurus, Leo, and Scorpio. This influence wants us to feel alive and juiced up with the energy to act, to pursue, to satisfy our physical drives, lending us power and speed in the forward direction of the stuff we seek to achieve. I think this is ideal for the big picture, small bites approach that we've been taking with Mercury sextile Jupiter down here. Mars wants to complete a simple, straightforward task and then keep moving, move on to the next one, right? The Sun sextile energy here is cooperating to hold our focus on those short-term goals that add up to pull the longer-term goals together and closer to us. Through May 22nd, Sun is sextile to Neptune. As always, this transit applies to everyone, but Taurus, Leo, and Pisces are most likely to notice. This is positive, cooperative functioning between our consciousness and our capacity to connect energetically with others. We can be really psychic at this time. We can really feel the vibe of the people around us and what's going on. It's easier to sort of read the room. So write down your predictions. This is also a good time to be making art and otherwise creating from the imagination. Mars and Neptune are conjunct through May 21. Aries, Scorpio, and Pisces here. These two planets are conjunct, lending us to the drive to act on what it is we perceive. So the question is, what do you habitually perceive with your creative mind? What do you normally imagine? If you're the kind of person who tends to imagine that people and the world are unkind, you may become some sort of paranoid and start to act on that paranoia. If you're the kind of person who tends to imagine that the world is a kind place full of people with good intentions, you can become sympathetic to others and start to act from that place of compassion. And this is why it is important to try to train ourselves to have an optimistic and loving outlook in life. Our conscious our unconscious biases can make all the difference when we are spurred into action. Through May 23rd, 3 there, Sun is square to Saturn. Taurus, Leo, Capricorn, Aquarius. Our responsibilities may be rubbing us the wrong way at this time, or perhaps there's something that keeps coming up to stop us in the fulfillment of our duties. In any case, we must prevail by doing what we said that we would do, because this is how we gain trust in ourselves and from other people. That square energy, yes, right, arises as a challenge, as something that we have to handle and get through, but it's not there to stop us. It is really there to remind us of our resolve and to get us to keep going. Mercury sextile Jupiter here with us through the 28th of May. Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. These two have been sextile to greater and lesser effect since April 27th. Right now we're in one of the more greater effect phases. This aspect broadens our outlook, lending us optimism and good fortune while we strategize our plans for global domination. These planets will remain in aspect this way through the 27th, and then we're going to come back after Mercury is direct again and revisit them again starting June 20th. Mercury is retrograde through June 3rd. The apparent backward motion here of our planet for analysis and communications can bring about shakeups in our ability to say what we mean and get where we're going. These things are often less easy for us at this time, so go slow. Be patient with yourself and others. Consider this an opportunity to practice Mercury's less direct or softer skills like listening, watching, and waiting for the right moment to move. And then Mercury trine Pluto is with us through June 19. Gemini, Virgo, and Scorpio would be the most affected here. The guidance is to pay close attention or listen in a deep way to what our senses are telling us about the endings and beginnings that are coming up and those that are already present in our lives. So pay attention to your intuitive impressions at this time. They can be useful in strategizing your approach to big changes. Pluto is also retrograde through October 8. Pluto spends 6 months of the year direct and 6 months of the year retrograde. And Pluto's always bringing about transformations, deep and total changes in our lives. So endings and beginnings, we kind of go through all the little changes until we come to a big one, right? And, when Pluto is direct, that's more happening in our outer life. We're more seeing that in our outer life. And when Pluto is retrograde, we see more of that in our inner life. This is Pluto's final retrograde in Capricorn. After transiting Capricorn for the last 25 years, Pluto is almost done bringing deep and total change to our institutions and traditions. What worked back then often no longer works in the new world, and we're not yet done going through these changes to our notions of what works. And I know I keep talking about, this being Pluto's final retrograde in Capricorn, this being Pluto's last year in Capricorn, but really it's been more than 25 years, so it's a whole generation of change that we've been to where it concerns, our tradition, what we consider tried and true, what we thought was institutional or foundational. A lot of that stuff has just been sort of drudged up or overturned and exposed for what isn't working with it. This is also a time when the things that don't work in your personal life, like bad habits or toxicity in your relationships or poor money management, will become painfully clear. Your gut is going to tell you, your subconscious is going to say, hey, this needs to come to an end. This isn't working. We need to make a new start. But not to worry, we have lots of initiative and momentum and power on our side at this time. The transformations are here, and with a little bit of planning, we can see our way through them. Tomorrow, Sun goes conjunct to Mercury, as though to amplify the retrograde experience for us. This Sunday, we'll see that third quarter moon in Pisces, and Mercury in retrograde will back up into the sign of Taurus again. Next week, among other things, Sun will go sextile to Jupiter, placing the emphasis on expansion. Mars is going to make ingress to its home sign, Aries, boosting our initiative and effectiveness in action. And Venus will make ingress to its home sign, Taurus, next week, putting us all in a comfortable and positive vibe with the receipt of those material resources we like. And that is it for today's astrology, friends. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Please like my video, subscribe, click the notifications bell. I post here every day, and I wouldn't want you to miss a thing. And friends, I truly appreciate it so much when you comment to ask questions and provide encouragement. I see you doing it. I feel encouraged. I know that it isn't just gratifying for me to know that you're listening, but it lets YouTube know that you're engaged in the content. So that helps a lot, and I appreciate it. Also, if you know anyone for whom this guidance may resonate, I encourage you to share. And now I'm going to take a couple of minutes to talk about the tarot as it relates to astrology today. First, I will discuss the tarot card that sits on the left-hand side of the page here, and then I'll do a quick rundown of today's astrology before throwing a random card that hopefully speaks to today's abundant energies. So let's go ahead and get into that. The tarot card that sits on the side of the page is the Seven of Pentacles, and today is the last day for the Seven of Pentacles because it relates directly to the the last 10 days of the Sun's transit through Taurus. So as Taurus is moving into Gemini, tomorrow we will have a new card to discuss. For now, though, this has been a time of focusing on our material resources and trying to grow something that will be valuable to us. And when I talk about material resources, I'm really talking about our wealth, our money, our finances, also, the nice things we have, how we're keeping them, and also our own physical well-being. Like, how is your health and how well are you keeping it to the best of your ability, right? So these are things that we've been very focused on, especially like being able to draw in the resources that we need. A seedling puts down, sprouts, and then it puts down roots, and it uses the nutrients from the soil and the water and the sun to grow big and strong, to put down those roots and to become a big, strong, sort of growing, living thing. So this is what we've been doing. We've been, working on our pentacles. We've been working on our material resources. We've been paying attention to how we get them and trying to get them from a reliable source. We've been trying to be consistent and reliable in growing our own resources. And Seven of Pentacles represents a time when, we're almost there. We've almost grown this thing that we're working on into something that has value for us. It is not quite there yet. Okay, so we feel like we're ready to enjoy the fruits of our labor, or we feel like we're ready to go ahead and harvest those resources so that they can have value for them. But really, there's more work to do. Okay, so this is a time when we actually have to focus and put a little more effort into what it is that we're doing so that these physical resources have the best possible value for us when they're ready to go. And with that said, I'm going to go ahead and mix up some cards while I remind myself and the cards that the Sun starts out in Taurus today and makes ingress to Gemini this evening around 8:30. So most of the day in Taurus, we're still focused on the receipt of those resources that make us feel stable and secure and supported. Uranus has been in Taurus and will continue to be in Taurus, bringing about sort of this changeable, shifting nature to where we get the things that we rely on, how we get the things we rely on, how much they cost, how long it takes to get them, that kind of stuff. That's going to keep going on, friends. The supply chain is in transition, right? And but that's okay right now. North Node has also been in Taurus and will be in Taurus through next July, and that's really helping us have this sort of singular mindset toward drawing in those materials, those physical resources that we need and desire. So it kind of says it doesn't matter what the shifting landscape looks like. I'm going to go ahead and get what it is that I need, however I have to go ahead and do that. And then when the Sun goes into Gemini, the focus comes more around the conversations and the planning. There can be sort of a playful vibe. There can be a willingness to change our minds about how things are going. Gemini is is mutable air, so mutable sort of disperses ideas and disperses thoughts and disperses plans. So that's the kind of vibe that we're going into here for the next month. And then the waning gibbous moon will be for a third quarter moon in just a couple of days. It starts out in Capricorn. That's very much worker mode at home and in the heart. And then this morning it shifts into Aquarius, which pulls us up out of, you know, like our nose to the grindstone sort of work efforts, and asks us to pay attention to our community, our networks, our allies, helping us organize, you know, outside of ourselves for a better experience for everybody. On the moon side of the page, you know, a lot of really positive vibrations today. There's this possibility for some really intense feelings and deep recall, and that conjunct doesn't really guarantee a positive or a negative experience. It just says this is going to be intense, folks. So that's a couple of hours there where, you know, something really strong might come up for you in your heart or in your home, and, you know, just guidance to be prepared for that to happen. You know, try to have your peace of mind on so that you can move through that 2-hour aspect without dragging it into the rest of the day with you, right? Because it's really early in the morning. Otherwise, we've got this very early morning vibe that says, you know, you could probably take action today and get positive outcomes. Moon goes into Aquarius, still pretty early in the day, and brings out that community spirit from our hearts. And then also this morning between 10 and 11, we have these two aspects that come together that make it ideal for sharing, for, you know, having communications, especially about our plans for growth. And that'll bring about a lot of positivity. We can be good company, and we can, you know, like help others see a little bit about how they can be growing and expanding as well. With the reminder that Mercury is retrograde, so, you know, the communication might be a little, and we may not want to share everything that's coming up for us, but, you know, we still have this really positive, warm, friendly attitude at this time that helps us be able to share with other people. That trine energy, ideal, positive, perfect functioning for whatever it is that you want to communicate. And then sextile there is really cooperative functioning. It's also very positive, and it's dynamic, and it generates good outcomes. On the sun side of the page, we have sun trine moon today. That happens a couple times a month, and just brings this like really ideal energy between my outer self and my inner self. So what I'm feeling is really in an ideal alignment with what I'm observing and expressing. Okay, so that's really positive, and it's going to help us sort of push those things toward the door that are no longer working for us, so that with that third quarter moon, we can come up and start pushing things out the door. And then later on this evening, like I said, sun moves into Gemini. So, you know, our focus turns to the communication issue, even though Mercury is right there in Gemini also in retrograde. So it may definitely be an issue that we have to think about and be flexible around, but Gemini allows us to be flexible. In the ongoing column, we have all of this sun energy. Okay, this is all outer life energy. This is all about what's going on in our conscious mind, what's going on in our work, social, and civic spheres, how we are behaving and moving forward out in the world. And look at all this. You've got trine, sextile, trine. So that's all very positive stuff, saying, you know, we have powerful self-expression on our side. We have really positive changes to go through right now. We can enter these evolutions, these endings and beginnings with a really positive attitude, with our eyes wide open to what's happening and ready to step into the changes, right? Initiative to act is boosted here. So again, ready to go ahead and take action and step into those endings and beginnings that we're making. Likewise, you know, on the inside, like our ability to sense what's going on around us, our ability to read a room and feel the feelings of the people, feel the vibes of the people around us, is really amplified, and it's working for us. So that's a very cooperative energy that says that, you know, we can tune into those around us and make things work regarding the actions that we're trying to make. Mars is conjunct to Neptune. So you got Sun sextile Mars and Neptune. You've got Mars and Neptune are conjunct. They're just overlapping if you could see them together in the sky. And when that is the case, that's a really intensification of those energies. And like I said, that conjunct doesn't promise good or bad, but with these other positive things going on with Mars right now, conjunct to Neptune, which also has some positive stuff going on, we act on what we perceive. Hopefully we're perceiving things from a really positive perspective, and we're able to take actions that show our compassion and our sense of connection and understanding of what other people are doing. No matter what, though, Sun is square to Saturn here. Square is just a challenge. It's there to remind us, to sort of spur us forward, to remind us what we're dedicated to doing, what we've committed ourselves to, what is supportive of ourselves. And it just says, go ahead and do it. Even if you're getting stopped, even if things are getting in your way, even if Mercury is retrograding all over your plans for stability and doing what normally works for you, you got to move forward. You got to go ahead and take care of the business that you said you would. And then we have some Mercury vibes down here. Mercury, of course, is retrograde. We've got these backwards brains right now. And that's just to say that our analytic capacity is not full speed ahead right now. Okay, we're a little bit slowed down. Our ability to cogitate things might be a little bit, we have to think about things a little bit more before we try to express them. And just expressing things or moving around can be a little bit more difficult. Be patient with yourself and others. Be patient with your electronic gear. Be patient in traffic and out in public among other people, okay, because we're all dealing with this sort of limitation of the analytic functioning in a sort of backward motion. In the meantime, though, while we are doing that, we can strategize for growth, okay? Just because we can't always communicate exactly what we want to do, communicate when Mercury is in retrograde, just because plans don't go forward as smoothly always as we think that they should or we thought that they would, that doesn't mean that we can't make plans. We can't still sit and wait and watch for the right opportunities. And part of strategizing for growth is looking at what your bigger plan is, looking at what your bigger goals are, sort of breaking them down into single actions that you can take, right? Bite-sized chunks. And that's what this Sun sextile Mars is there to help us do, because Mars wants to take that one bite and then move on and then go take the next bite. Okay, so this is helping us to really slow down, think about the growth that we're trying to have, think about the bigger plan, and break it down into smaller pieces so that it's easier to act on. And then Mercury trine Pluto here, trine, ideal, the most positive functioning that you can get between two planets. Trust your insight. Your intellect can see into your gut at this time, okay? Your brains can see into your subconscious, and your unconscious is like informing what it is you're doing to strategize, what it is you're doing to move forward in life, and you can trust what it's telling you. Pluto is retrograde. That just means that those endings and beginnings that we're going through, we're feeling them more on the inside than on the outside. Okay, so those changes, those adjustments that we have to make within to, sort of culminate our outer life plans are very much underway for us. Be conscious of the emotional impact. Be conscious of the intuitive impact of the things that we're doing and the things that we're planning, the things that we're communicating, the stuff we're feeling, noticing. Be conscious of the impact that has on you while Pluto is in retrograde, and that will help. Be conscious of the unconscious, right? And with all of that said, I'm going to turn this card. Oh, friends, we got the world. So this is great. This is really beautiful on a day of transition like this, where, like the sun is transitioning between signs, the moon is transitioning between signs, and we have all of this like Mercury retrograde and positive Mars stuff going on right here, where we can really we have our plans and we're strategizing for our own growth, and we are acting to complete things, to get us closer to the completion of our goals. The world represents the completion of a goal or the completion of a cycle. You have come full circle. The Fool is the beginning, and we had that a few days ago, and the world is the end. And after the world, you become the Fool again, because you've already gained all of the knowledge and materials and experience that came from your last endeavor. And after this, you're just going to have to start over somewhere, right? So this is the end, beautiful friends, but it's a really positive end. It really says that you have gained a lot of experience, and you've gained a lot of resources, and you've gained a lot of power in your ability to do what it is you're doing right now. And you can look back and see what you have achieved, and you can look forward and see that you are at sort of the end of one cycle, and there's a fresh beginning coming up for you now. It's a very Pluto kind of vibration, right? Endings and beginnings. It's also very Mars kind of vibration, because Mars is about starting things. It's about initiation or asserting ourselves. So those endings and beginnings are very much there with us. And taken together with that Seven of Pentacles. This is also the end of that 10-day period of the Seven of Pentacles. Okay, so we've come to that point. We've come to the end of that point where we've almost come to the end of that point where we have to like really focus our power in on our on the culmination of our physical resources, so that they will have value. Okay, we're at the end of that part of the cycle. So recognize the work that you've done, recognize all of the labor and love and attention and resources you gave yourself and gave your projects and your plans during this time. And you can take a sigh of relief and say, yes, I did that, and now it's time to move forward. And I believe that's all I have to say about it today, friends. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate your presence. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today.